it was very, very exciting. I was always involved in the arts. A lot of people said, well, how did you make the jump from going from manufacturing into film? Wasn't as weird as it sounded if you knew me, because I always played music and recorded a lot of music in my basement. And when I got out of manufacturing into film, and I shouldn't say I got out because I really never left it. Still have a great relationship with my old boss, with a lot of marketing for him. But one of the things that I talk with people a lot about is, you know, they say, well, is your show, you know, is it like how it's made? And I'm like, no. I said, because I think, well, there's something great about that concept of, you know, how things are made, and while we should be talking with people about how things are made, I think the better question is who made it? You know, it's people that are behind everything that is out there. Every manufactured product was thought of, it was designed, and it was built by somebody. And so I talk about that a lot with students, because as colleagues, we'd often think that most people don't really understand how things are made or why it matters. Now I'm excited because a lot of people are starting to talk about this. They're starting to realize that manufacturing is the backbone of the economy. They're realizing that we should be keeping it here in North America, that we should be passing it on to the next generation. The question is how to do that. Because we, as an industry, we've done a horrible job marketing ourselves. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but from what I have seen, the majority of people look at it as this dark, dirty environment, something that if you're a failure, that's good for you. That wasn't the people I met. That was not the people that I worked with. The people that I worked with, some of them were incredibly skilled programmers, but they had this mechanical knowledge, you know, that would rival an engineer. And they could make their machine reverse engineer all sorts of amazing things. Years and years of knowledge, highly, highly sophisticated equipment they were using. These were the people that I worked with, and ultimately that was really the motivation for the Edge Factor show. We wanted to tell it from the manufacturer's perspective. I wanted to tell the stories of my colleagues and my coworkers that I admired, people that I really felt had been undervalued by. Really, you go home and you try to explain what you're doing, and they kind of go, you know, they don't really get it, so they don't ask too many questions. So I wanted to tell some of these stories. With Edge Factor, we realized if I was going to come out of the box and I was going to do something, I did not want to do it halfway. I thought it was really important. There was a lot of other things that were done. I think, you know, they have their place. You know, you got fathers fighting with sons on TV shows. That's great. If you enjoy that, that's fine. You've got how it's made, and that's also great. But we really wanted to focus on how manufacturing changes lives, how technology and people together do extraordinary things. So we shot our first production in 3D. The result of that was actually really kind of cool, because I thought we were going to go into this and I was going to tell my colleagues' stories, the people I met. What I didn't realize was that there was a much deeper problem. Yeah, we've got this identity crisis, we've done a poor job marketing. The end result is nobody's coming into the industry. So we had teachers coming to us and saying, this is really, really great. We want you to keep doing what you're doing. We'd love to see more. And so we went on and we produced a story that was at the time, maybe it still is, I don't know what the stats are, but it was probably one of the biggest news stories to hit the internet, the Chilean mine rescue. My perspective is this. Everybody recalls that capsule coming out of the ground, you know, all the lights on it, because at night especially, we all remember those images of these guys being pulled out. And I'm going, well, that's great, but who made the hole? Because if there was no hole, there was no rescue. That had never been faced before, you know, going down 2,000 feet through that type of rock, that had never, ever been something that somebody had to do. They were faced with it, they redesigned it, they re-engineered it. It was an amazing story. I considered it a privilege to have been able to tell their story. So, show you a little clip of what that started. Really, I'm ahead of myself.